Hello, hello, hello. What's up? What's up? Welcome everybody to impromptu live design session of Thunderbird. I didn't prepare much on this, but I'm doing some design, and I saw that the last time that I did a live design session was many months ago, and a lot of things visually have changed inside Thunderbird, so I want to do it again and just live stream some drastic changes, some improvements, some UI and UX improvements that we're doing, so everyone can participate and this video can stay on the internet forever and people can shout at me when they don't like what I'm doing. But first, before we proceed, let me check the audio. Is the audio okay? Test. Yeah. Seems that the sounds okay. Yeah, let me know if you can hear me properly, or the background music is too low, you want a little bit too high, or like background music is too loud, or anything else. Thank you. We got Jason in the house as our Thunderbird community manager, is doing amazing work with the community. But yeah, we got also a Thunderbird YouTube channel. You should definitely check it out and subscribe if you're not already, and follow all the tips and tricks and announcements and important things that Jason is amazingly creating, all very useful. But yes, I set the live streaming to start at 1:45 and I started 5 minutes earlier, so it's fine, it's absolutely fine. So today, as per the title, we're gonna see a redesign of the new address book, or the new address book that we currently have in version 102. Will do not a complete redesign, but a somewhat very nice and thorough polish of all the things that we weren't able to do in the previous version, because a lot of backend restructuring and architecture and a lot of like technical debt, we had to deal with that before 102, and we weren't able to bring the front end, the UI of the address book, to completion. Now we are in a pretty good state where the address book has pretty much all the backend wiring and the architecture and the database. Everything is vCard compatible, everything works as expected. So now we can focus on the user interface and the user experience aspect and make it optimal, make it perfect, and make it as accessible as possible, because we have also some accessibility issues in the new address book that we will need to solve. Hello everyone, thanks for writing in chat. So let me show you what we got. Hey, I'm good, thank you. Thanks for asking. Super tired. I wish I was sleeping right now. It's 2 in the afternoon and I want to go to sleep. I'm extremely tired, but this is great. I'm excited. I love doing live streamings, even if probably I'm not very good at it, but it's fine. Hello, Micah. Micah, a lot of the things that we implement in the address book is also thanks to Micah, so give him a shout out as well, because his work is absolutely incredible and important. Okay, so what do we have? First of all, if you're using Thunderbird 102, this is what you should see. We got a list of all the address books. If you have some mailing lists, we have them here. We have your list of contacts. You can search for your contacts, and it's pretty fast, pretty snappy. A couple of issues. First, these 2 columns cannot be resized yet. There was a limitation because we implemented a new 3 list box widget that doesn't resize columns. We are adding the possibility of resizing, but this thing is slightly responsive. So if you increase it, it goes on 2 columns. If you decrease it enough, it goes on, it just separates. And here, this one, you can actually resize this, but it stacks. So we need to continue and complete and make it stack. But this is all coding stuff. It's not really a problem. The problem with this solution, and we had a big meeting before and we started analyzing the problem with this solution, is that when you have, first of all, when you enter edit mode, it's pretty overwhelming because we show everything all at once. And when you start adding things, because we're using this masonry layout, the other categories, the other sections, they just shift around. They go left and right, they jump on column, depending on how many things you add, they start like shifting left and right. It's pretty messy. So we shouldn't do that. We should have a consistent one single column with a better organized thing. The other issue that we have here is that because we have this sort of like repeated options here, sometimes we hide the labels of the fields, and we use a little trick to have the accessibility label there but hidden by default, but only readable by screen readers, and it's messy, it's not great. There are other things, like we have this solution here if you want to add a prefix or add a middle name or a postfix. This looks nice in design, it was kind of like fancy, but in terms of accessibility, this is a nightmare, especially if you start with your first name, you want to go to the last name, you hit tab, and instead of being on the last name field, you hit the center button, which is super annoying. So it's not, yeah, we need to fix that. And in general, we need to clean it up. We need to improve a little bit of the UI. We're not gonna have a toolbar here. We're gonna have a unified toolbar. So all these buttons should be in context to create the address book, create a contact where it makes sense, create a list and import where it makes sense, as well as the counter here. We re-enabled these string. This is the old string that was in Thunderbird. Actually, I don't think you can see it. There you go. Yes, this little string here that changes based on how many contacts you have. This thing is a string that we had in Thunderbird 91, and we're reusing it. We should stop using it, especially because you have the address book selected and we say total contacts in all address book, total contacts in personal address book, total contacts in collected address book. Like, we repeat it. This is useless. The counter, if the user wants to see it, there should be an option to show counter, and it should be alongside to the side of the address book, and that's it. It's just a number. We don't need to repeat the same absolute atrocious things over and over again. So there are a lot of things that need to be fixed. And do I have yeah, I think that's pretty much it. We need to also we need to implement the categories. The last thing that we didn't implement about the vCard specs are the categories, and the categories are basically, they will allow us to group items and not use the shitty mailing list implementation that we have. This doesn't respect anything. It's just local, doesn't save to your address book. It's just like a way of organizing, basically grouping your contacts into a specific group. So a group is basically a category, and your contact belongs to that category member. Yeah, we need to do a lot of things. So this was the original mockups that we did here. You can see it's old, it's from last year because it still has the old toolbar. The icons are the old icons, but nothing changed pretty much. The original mockup kind of like got implemented the way we wanted to. The only thing that we didn't implement it, we had this paradigm here that if you have a lot of emails, we only show a limited amount, and then if you click you want to expand more, we show extra. And also here we already see the issue in this situation. If a section grows, this address that was to the left, it suddenly goes to the right, and all your blocks shift. It's not great, especially if you change between different contacts. Your data, your content shifts left and right, is never always at the same place. It's just so annoying, and after you start using it a lot, it gets jarring. It's just your content jumps left and right. It's just absolutely atrocious. We also had this idea here that by default we start with a very simple view. We start with just the name and the email, which is what we do right now, but also we have an add field button, and when you click on add field, you can choose what to show. And we will need to implement this as well. We have like a partial patch almost finished. We will need to implement that, but also these fields should be added always in the same place. We cannot add them left and right, and then when you add an extra things, it adds at the bottom. But if you add the same thing on another contact at the top, it adds at the top. Like the data structure should be consistent and always at the same place. And yeah. And the original idea was also to have this fancy thing that we kind of implemented, that if you want to add a prefix or a middle name or a suffix, we show it as a plus connected to the input field, but this doesn't really work well. Is a accessibility nightmare, is very difficult for screen readers, so we should just scan it and have a simple field to add extra field, add a prefix or a suffix, something that comes after, and it doesn't interrupt the regular tab navigation of this form field, so something like that. And the other solution that we wanted to have is a sort of like, these will be kind of like categories or tags or groups. We need to define, like, I think the official vCard name is categories, but we might potentially call them group, or yeah, probably, I don't know. But yeah, the idea is to allow users to create some categories or tags and add those specific people to these categories and tags, and then they will be able to filter those tags by filter the contents by those tags, and then we will find a way, we need to find a way to show these tags as sort of like groups or mailing lists. The problem is that if you have a lot of contacts, you might have hundreds, if not thousands, of different tags. So we will need to find a way, how do we show them here without polluting this column forever, and it's gonna be just absolutely terrible to manage. So that's the problem. Koshish says tags. You wanna, yeah, we could call them tags, but then you filter by tags, you organize your, I mean, it will be consistent with the email tab because we have the tags in emails, but this, like the way we handle mailing list is more like a folder or a subfolder type of approach. So I'm not sure if tags is the correct approach, but anyway, so I started doing some cleanup design. First of all, we're gonna start implementing the design system that amazing Micah started creating with the proper colors and the proper icons. Everything in this UI will reflect the actual future 1.15. We're gonna have a unified toolbar on top with a global search, and by default we will not have toolbar buttons. Of course, you can add them, customize the toolbar, you can add as many buttons as you want, and if you have a heavily customized toolbar, we will try to maintain it during update. But all the actions that you need, for example, new address book, new contact, import, export, create a new list, all the things that we currently have in Thunderbird in this toolbar, new address book, new contact, new list, and import, these should be in context. So we should put, the idea is the new contact as the primary. What is the most common action that you do when you enter the address book? Create a new contact. Other than browsing and searching for a contact, is creating a new contact. So first of all, the new contact is the primary button that is on top of everything. Then the second part, I guess, like potentially is just searching for a contact is the primary action. So the search field will be focused and active. You can start typing and filtering all your contacts already. The second most common action is creating a content. And then others, we have creation and import. So the creation will show a pop-up with, you can create an address book, you can create a card app, LDAP, you can create a list, you can create a tag or a category, however we want to call it, and then the import. And these things, they belong to the address book list context because those are global actions that are affecting the list of address books. If you create a new address book or create a new list category, or you import something, it will affect your address book stuff. And these actions potentially, after you start using the address book for the first time, they're not that common. It's not that every time you access the address book, you need to create a new address book. You probably do it at the beginning, or maybe you even never do it, because when you set up an account, we automatically auto setup or auto search for your connected address book, and we tell you, okay, just click and connect and everything is set up. So you potentially, a lot of users will never need to actually create an address book or import anything. Everything is set up automatically if you have it in your connected to your email address. So these actions, they make sense to be less exposed at the bottom inside the context of the address book list. And then here we will have, of course, the search field with a different shortcut, Control K to do a global search and Control Shift K to do a localized contextual search. We have this dream in the future of having these shortcuts customizable. I'm not sure if it will happen this year, but next year 100%. So the first thing, a little bit of color management, like it's very faint, few levels of gray, but then we have the actual divider here that they always show. So these will be resizable, accessible, and blah blah blah. I started creating some widgets here for the address book. This doesn't see, yeah, I can show you the background. For the address book row, so this is like the default state when you're selected is this. When it's selected but the widget is not focused is that, and then we can create another variation. I would say this is not selected, let's call it selected minus focus, or actually this is focused minus selected, and this situation would be something like the background, it doesn't have a color, but it has a dashed line with our blue palette, something like this, or 50 maybe, yes, something like that. Customizable box and colors, those are themes. Koshish, you're asking about themes. You can customize the colors by creating your own theme. We don't do customizable colors in the application. You can create a theme and with CSS, or you can edit the user chrome.css and change the CSS variables to the colors that you want. Those are already customizable, but we don't expose those in the UI because you can affect the accessibility and the readability of the text. So we don't want to expose it. We only let it do it to users that are developers that are kind of like experienced and they kind of know how to handle these sort of things. But these are the various states of this widget. Perfect. So now here we can kind of recreate or simulate a little bit. There's another thing that we should add to this, which is the drop down. But we can do it later, address book row. So now we can do something. Let's copy this, let's paste it here and detach it from the instance because we need to create something different. So here, basically, I'm recreating the UI a little bit and creating some boilerplate UI, and then we can focus on the actual content and how to fix all these things. But I need to do this. This is like a chore, basically, but we need to do this because we need to have an exact, precise user interface to make sure that the spacing, the paddings, and everything is properly respected. So here I'm painstakingly going, this is 12 pixel up, this is 15 pixel. What's the difference here? 8. No, let's do like 9 pixels. And these are perfectly aligned. So we are trying to respect as much as possible all of these things, and it's not easy. It's not easy at all. Yeah, Thunderbird is looking good. Thanks so much. Right. So let me check. I'm checking the old Thunderbird UI as a reference. So I can see what we have and what we don't have. But of course, while I do this, if you have any questions, if you have any issues or whatever, you can ask. Arrow down. Do we have a chevron? Chevron. here we need the personal address book stuff. Boom, boom, boom. We can do something like that. This, we can make it 3 pixels, and these might be your personal address book, and this can be expanding as much. All right, this chevron, I want this to be our ink color. Ink, let's do ink 60. What's the color of this icon? This color is ink 70, so let's do ink 70. Oh, Micah, nav left, right? Oh, is this, should I replace this? Is nav left, is nav right? Oh, nav down, excess, nav down small. Nav down small, no, wait, because I rotated it, so I should revert. Oh, thank you, Micah. Yeah, yeah, see, having our interface designer in the comments is useful, so I don't do mistakes. All right, so we got this, and then we have an indentation that we can duplicate this, and we can simulate mailing list, or actually this is just list. What's the name of the mailing list? ETL. Hey ETL, thank you for checking. High contrast mode, HCM, you mean? In high contrast mode is gonna look high contrasty. We need to design it properly, but for now it's just mostly black and white, no color variation. Also, Micah is doing some high contrast icons, which they will have like a 2 pixel thicker border, just 2 colors, black and white, no gradients, no fading variations, nothing. So for now, like I should have said as a disclaimer, I'm designing these in a default density mode. You have 3 density in Thunderbird. It's just compact, default, and relaxed. I'm doing this in the default density mode, and I'm doing this with the default theme. We're gonna have visual variations for high contrast mode, dark mode, light mode, and whatever. So yeah, I cannot design at the same time 5 different modes. That would be insane. So I'm focusing on one density and one theming. So yeah, that's the thing. I need icons. Where is the... Yeah, Micah is checking user list. Thank you, Micah. Is he? It's him. Follow him. Look at this. Follow him. Yeah, all right. Where is it? Let's go back to the address book. Alrighty. This is user list. Boom. Yeah. Nice. Okay. And this might be front end team. And these we need to indent it again. There's another thing that I'm not sure I like is how much we indent stuff. We indent this a lot. Whoops, not this. We indent this by like a huge chunk. So as soon as you have something slightly longer, you might have this is a long mailing, this needs to be mailing. It turns into something like this, because here you have actually the 3 dots for the options, and the actually let me add it right now. More small. I think it's horizontal. Yeah, I think it's like that. We have the 3 dots for the options, and also this needs to be inside at the same size. So this is 6 pixels and it's inside. Okay, we got these, and And if the user decides to show the numbers, we would have something like this. Let's do this thing. Oh no, this I'm editing. We would have something like this. I'm gonna do it like super quickly here, and then I'm gonna transfer it into a component so we can make it reusable. But we might have something like this, like 189 contacts or something like that. And this might be bold, but we make it 9. And then we have a little peel shaped thingy that it's underneath. Paste it here, put it underneath. And these we can define some colors, but also this should be a 6 and this should be center. And this we want to make it gray, or we will make, okay, this is, we need different variations based on when it's selected. So if this is gray 20, this should be maybe gray 30, or we can do an ink color. Actually, let's go gray, because this technically is selected but not visible. So something like this. Oh, so many comments. Kim, buongiorno. Hello, thank you. It's because I'm Italian. Micah said, I can't wait until I finish the new icons, and then I'm gonna clean up the Figma file components. Yes, yeah, this is gonna be awesome. So we can have different variations here of this number. But yeah, the problem with this massive indentation, we're indenting a lot, because visually this is pretty obvious, right? You see, okay, this belongs to this, like there's no confusion because we're indenting a lot, the space is in a lot. But as soon as if the users decide to show me the counter and go and roll over and show me, when you go and roll over, we show the more drop down context menu to access this, to make it accessible without a right click. It's a lot. Like your name is gonna be very, very short. Imagine something like this. And we need to also decide how do we do that? Do we show the number? Okay, what do we do here? This is another problem. This is annoying. So if we have this here, is the number before or after? I think it's before. The context should be last, but if you're not, the context button only appears when you go and roll over. So if you don't hover it, do we show it like this? It looks pretty stupid. And if you go and roll over, we don't want to shift and move this thing, right? But this is great. Okay. Hello, Solange. Hey, we got another designer in the house. Hello. So we got all these problems to solve. Let's try to solve them. This is gonna be super boring. It's nothing exciting, but we need to define all of these things. So first of all, let's copy this. And let's put it inside here. This is gonna appear probably. Let's remove this. Okay, we got it inside, and we need 6 pixels, and then we do we got this. Let's cut it from here and paste it also here. So yeah, what do we do? Do we do this? This is, wow. So yeah, not great. Gray 70, the count gray 70, and these we could go gray 20. So if it's not selected and not on hover, we can do something like this. It's not bad. All right. Micah says before. Hello, Charles. ETL says maybe with the 3 dots could replace the number just on over. It could, but wouldn't that be kind of annoying for some users? Like you have your numbers here and then you go roll over and then suddenly your number disappears because you're on over. So especially like I know for a fact, unfortunately, my mom and dad, they're like kind of old. They read the user interface by following it with the mouse. They use the mouse as a pointer to follow what they're reading. So if there's a number and they go there to read and they follow with the mouse, then all of a sudden the number disappears. Kind of annoying. It's kind of brutal. So yeah, it's something to consider. Or maybe just for the occasion, just for these, we could have... No, that might be bad. That's super bad. No, I was suggesting to have like the more button outside the boundaries of the row, but that's absolutely atrocious. So we shouldn't do that. Yeah. So don't laugh, ETL. It's a real problem. It's a real thing. Okay. Okay. First, let's create these variations. Here we can. Let's copy this too, and let's put it in here. Let's slap it then here. Let's put it the same spot. 1, 2, 3. And then we can create the variation of this. That should be white. And this, because it's selected, we make it white as well. And this one should be this, yeah. Kind of, nice. I like it. Hey, that's not bad. Animation to scoot the number over on hover. I don't know. This is a hard one. Yes, it is. It is a hard one. Well, I guess someone will solve this problem. Huh, Micah? Yeah, I don't know. For now, we just keep it like this. Yeah, the only problem, like, I don't mind this situation where you have the more context, or I guess we could potentially leave the context always visible, but that's a lot. I don't know. Yeah. But then yeah, we can have also these two inside here and put it here at 6, and they should it appear there. Perfect. And the container here should be a tad darker, but not too much. 30. So these are the variations of an address book row, and I'm experimenting with these variations because we have a lot of interaction. Like this is the default when it's not selected or nothing. This is when it's selected and the item is focused on the whole address. It's like this situation, like I have it selected and I'm focused on this column, but then if I move the focus to another column, this is still selected, but it's not focused anymore. So it's just light gray. And then we need another option when the user is tabbing, like this, it doesn't work right now, it's not accessible, but we should have an option where the user, I think it happens on the, with the user, exactly. See, I'm moving the focus, like this item is selected, but this item is selected. Actually, this item is selected, but then I'm moving the focus with a control arrow up and down so I can select and deselect multiple items. This is for the accessibility. So we need to define these different states properly, otherwise everything's gonna be awful. This is a good one, and I guess the last one could be just is identical to the top one. Yeah, I think these are pretty good states. But yeah, good luck, Micah. Yes. Yeah, Jeff, your dad reads the same way, following the pointer. Yeah, people do that. It's not uncommon, unfortunately. So hiding things on hover is, it's definitely a no-go because it opens up to a million different potential issues and stuff like that. So yeah, we're not gonna do this. Okay, so let's leave it at that for now. One thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy one of these because I don't want to redo it from scratch, and I'm gonna copy one of these things and just slap it here and just put it a little bit same distance, and then I'm gonna put it at 15. Yeah, we can do this. For now we're not coloring this because that creates a lot of annoying problematics, and we are only using grayscale things, but we will enable users to change that. Okay, so here we are doing something different. We're reducing this and changing gray to a gray 40 if I'm not wrong. No, it was a gray 50. Yes, and this is a gray. Man, Micah, the color palette, it's so absolutely freaking useful. It's just great. I think this might be an ink actually. I want to do it inky. Let's do it inky. Or the text might be gray. Let's do it inky for now. And this might be an ink. Ink 30. Oof, no, that's not readable. Okay. Let's do 6. And then we can do 6 as well. Okay. We got this. So. A couple of ideas here. First of all, multi-selections with a mouse without a keyboard, it's not possible for now. You always need to use a keyboard. You always need to use a modifier and other things. So a couple of ideas here that you could implement are allowing the user from the, like you click here, you have all the options to show, hide what you want, is showing the selection checkbox, a very simple checkbox selection, which is, yeah, pretty straightforward, nothing crazy. Yeah, showing the checkbox selection. It might be like 12, something like that. And of course, if the user wants to show something like that, we will need to show this also on top of everything. So our search bar will shrink a little bit because we need to give room for this. This search box, this checkbox will select all of them. So this is the first idea that we need to implement. The other thing that we could offer users is the separation of alphabetical separation. I don't know if that's something useful. I don't think we can even do it because the 3list box doesn't allow, or maybe it does. I think it does. I think it's pretty flexible. We can have these sort of like extra things, but something like this, and this is G. I don't know if it makes sense. I don't think it makes sense. Something extra. I mean, if you're seeing a lot of G's, you know you're in the G. I don't know if it helps to have this sort of like separator to better divide the different sections. For now, let's not do it. I don't think it's useful. Yeah. it's good to visually prototype things before coding, so you don't start programming things and then you realize, oh, this is useless. Let's not do this. Okay. All right. Now, the contact field. Let's reorganize this mess, because here we have a mess. We have a million different things. So first of all, what we want to do, Caddy, hey, hello. Add a row for the select all checkbox. It looks strange next to the search box. Well, these will show only if the user want it. Like if the user click on this filter, right now we have some filtering here, and you can decide what you want. Like you want to see your address book in the list, you can do it. You want to change the sort, you want to see first and last name or only the display name. So we're gonna add an extra option like show selection column or show select column, and it will show the whole column. So it's a deliberate choice to users to show something like that. By default, yes, it looks weird, but yeah, I think it's fine. Hoi, Mike Conley, thank you, thanks so much, much appreciated. Thank you for checking it out. Mike does Firefox live streaming, Firefox live hacking and coding, and you should definitely check his Twitch channel, or he's everywhere. You should definitely follow it because it's very informative and it's very entertaining. So I'm doing design, which is not as cool, but it's fine. So I think these, yeah, we might consider. I mean, you don't like select all, like you want to reserve a whole row to just show a label, select all, and the first time that you use it, then, oh, okay, I see what this is for. Like we don't need to reserve. I don't think we need to reserve an entire row just for this. Like, it's like an overkill, like. Right, select all, like a whole header area just for this, so we can have like the search bar is Koshish, don't use CMonkey. Why? Don't, how dare you? Oh, thank you, Mike. Thank you so much. Yes. I don't think it's needed, this whole thing, right? It's like it adds weight to the UI without much benefit. Like the only benefit is just to show that label, because you don't need to hover or select this to actually read the tooltip or to actually click it and understand like what is this, what it's for. But it's, yeah, no, I don't like it. Yeah. If the user decides to show the selection, I mean, I could be completely wrong, and we can change it later. But something like this is kind of like, this is like the search bar and the filter options button. This is sort of like the header of your contacts column. So adding an extra row just for that checkbox is kind of silly. And also let's remember that we will need to have extra space here in the future once we implement tags, categories, and other things, because if you start, and we need to figure out how to do it, but if you start filtering by categories or tags and you add those extra filters, we need to visually represent them while you search things. Otherwise, if your results don't match what you're searching, said, oh, why? Oh, because you have some filters open up and you need to be able to clear those filters. So maybe we already need another row reserved here to add some filters options to these things, unless we do some smart search like at category and then you search only for that category, or hashtag tag and then you search for that tag. But it's something a little bit more advanced. But yeah, something like that. We already reserved a row for this thing, so I wouldn't add another row. Jeff is a big fan. Well, Jeff rebuilt it from scratch, so he did it. So good stuff. All right, let's tackle these absolute absolute monster of a thing. The contacts edit. All right, so let me grab some screenshot of stuff here. I'm gonna grab a screenshot of the existing empty stuff. Okay. Let's first tackle the creation of this thing. Pictures, screenshot, put it here. This is what we got when you create a new contact, which is good. It's good. It's a lot. It's like a slap in your face, and it could be better. So let's make it better. So when you create a new contact, first of all, what we do, and we don't need to design that, we already have it. When you create a new contact, the rest of the application gets kind of like fade out with an overlay, so you cannot interact. And since we are removing the toolbar, we don't even need to disable these buttons. Everything will be covered. You cannot interact with it, you cannot connect until you click cancel. So that's good and well. Chris, you gave up on Thunderbird. Ah, come on, Chris. See, it doesn't sync with Gmail and Office 365 when setting up an email account. Don't we? Yes, we do. We auto-detect if you have any LDAP or CardDAV or CalDAV connected to your email account. Did you try 102 recently and setting up your setup? I mean, like, probably Jeff, if it's around, might know better than me. Let's remove the probably. Jeff knows better than me whatever is happening there. But if I remember correctly, we actually auto detect those things when you set up your email account, and we tell you, hey, do you wanna link it? And if you don't, you need to do it manually, but you should be able to do it still. Anyway, let's continue doing our lovely thing. So we have a couple of things. Save, cancel, delete. Chris, yes, I'm designing in Figma. So let's add the first buttons underneath. And when we are new contact. Okay, this is like we're editing a field, we're not creating a new one. So let's do the create new. Version 98, Chris. Okay, well, Chris, if it doesn't work, just open a bug request or write it support and ask for support, because it should work. I think. Hopefully. Now I'm giving you absolutely wrong information. But anyway, okay, so let's do this. Let's do something super quickly. I can reuse some stuff that I have here, so I don't need to redo everything from scratch, but of course I need to re-implement things properly. So we can grab these things, extra fields, 1, 2, and let's grab this picture thingy and let's put it in here. So group layout, address book row, contacts list. This goes into the contacts list. I'm just reorganizing files, so otherwise this is a mess. And this is okay. Okay. Oh, I love like support and live debugging on a live streaming while I design, other people write in the chat and try to figure things out. It's great. This is the beauty of open source. Let's continue doing like that. So never stop, never stopping. Okay, so when we start, actually, when we create a new contact, this is completely empty. We don't show anything. we show like new contact. This should be Ubuntu. Let's go gray 70. Yeah. Add picture. This blue is incorrect because this grabs too much attention. We don't need that type of attention to this little thingy. We want something like this. And actually we could go the other way around. We could go a tad darker, or the other way around. We could go lighter, and the text should be darker. Something like that. Add picture. This should be, yeah, it's Ubuntu, it's fine. You know, here, and this needs to be replaced with, do we have an upload icon? Upload, no. Import, download. We got a download icon that I can flip. We need an upload icon, but it's fine. This is perfect. Let's leave it turn like this. What is this? Ink 40. No, it's gray 40. Oh, it's not gray 50. Okay. And this should be slightly bigger, but it's fine for now. We should make this, let's double it up, 32. And of course this doesn't scale because, no, because this is a component, so it won't scale. Whatever. Communicates what we want to do. New contact here, this should be a bit tidier. Yeah, Micah, we do not currently. Plus sign. No, I wouldn't put a plus sign. We use the plus sign usually when you add things, new contact, when you add fields, we use the plus sign. So I wouldn't put it for like upload a picture. Uploading a picture is a completely, like, you're not adding or creating anything, you're putting something local into something else. So I will use a different like icon paradigm, and we need a larger one. I can quickly do it. So we have this detach instance. Let me drag this down up, and let's make this double it up. You can do this. Oh no, give me that, give me that, give me that. Come on. Can I rotate this? Can I extract it? Okay. Boom, boom. Oh, God. Jesus. Oh, God. Why is not closed? Close this, man. Come on. It's not hard. You can close a shape. Thank you. Thank you, Figma. Thank you. I much appreciate it. All right. Thanks so much. That was lovely. Thank you, Figma. Okay. Or simple upload. Makes sense because contextually you might recognize this is a picture and something like that. Okay. But then, first of all, do we want something this large? Is it that important? A profile picture? Well, we can completely remove it and just leave the upload stuff here. But this big, do we need to have it this big? I would say no. Let's make it 30, 60, 60, 60. Yeah, let's make it this big. Yeah. I mean, we have it this big because in this situation, for larger addresses, we might have, especially when you see your contact, we have, this is what we might have. Let me duplicate this over here. We might have your first and last name. Yeah, yuck. Then we got, we might have the nickname, which is something that we should show at like 12 maybe, and we gray 60. And then you have your primary email address, email at invalid.foo, and these should be maybe ink or maybe bluish 60. And then if we decide to do extra things like first, oh my god, I don't know how to spell first and last name. These might be like smaller, like 18. We got 18, 15, 18. We could have like 15 and 12, something like that. We might be in this situation. Nickname like this sort of separation, 6. And then we might have tags at this point, which should be displayed. It would be nice to display them here, like the example we had before. What was that? Simple view. Here we were adding here, but there's a lot of stuff, right? We're adding. Also, do we have a display name? No, the display name is just visible there in line. So yeah, that's it's a lot of stuff going on here. And this is only the primary email we show. We don't show all the emails, but yeah, I think this is pretty good. This height might be good, and these we can also vertically center align this, so it might be good, but also the tags. So maybe the tags we can just add them to the side or as a completely different row, because the users might have multiple tags, but it's fine. These, I want the border to be 3 pixels. Okay, yeah, let's do something like that. Okay, then the problem that we highlighted before, we wanted to do these fancy things, right? We want to do these fancy, super nice, super cool, dope. When you hover on a field or when you select a field, then we show the plus to add a prefix and suffix. This is absolutely not accessible. It is, we made it accessible, but it's a nightmare to navigate. It's very complicated, it's not intuitive. We should just drop it. It's something that is not standard. It's not something that you see everywhere or users are familiar with. It's something custom that we created because we want it to be fancy, but it adds a lot of complexity that we shouldn't need. Like, whatever, let's drop this. So we should have we can actually, let me grab this whole shebang here. We should have this done. First of all, first and last name. Let's remove this shit. Sorry, I shouldn't use coarse language. This is a family-friendly streaming. So let's do Ubuntu. Okay, and these two are gray 70 or 60, yes, and these are gray 20 or gray 30. I think gray, oh, even 40. Yeah, 40, otherwise it's not really. Okay, we could do something like this, and let's align this because 30 pixel, and these, let's align these to, whoa, what happened? 6. Okay. So many messages. Do really people want suffix and prefix? Oh yes, Koshish, you will be surprised how many things people want that personally I don't use, but people are different, especially like in a lot of different countries. The way things are written are absolutely different. A middle name might be absolutely important. A suffix must be absolutely important, especially if you have the same people with the same name. You want to use the prefix like Mr., Mrs., Doctor, whatever. Why need the plus when already adding those fields? What do you mean? So let me show you. By default, when you create a new contact, we only show first and last name by default, but we need to keep those fields separate because you cannot type Dr. Alex Castellani, MD, Master of the Universe. Because we need the first and last name field separate, because we need that distinction of first and last name to sort alphabetical, to give the user the option to filter first name, filter last name, and to keep all those separate. Especially for the vCard specs, we need to sort those things, prefix, suffix, first and last name, all as separate entities. If we just give one simple long ass field without separation, we will never know how to split that string and how to save those into the vCard specs properly. So we need those fields separate, and we had this situation here that we were doing so far, like prefix, first, middle name, last name, and suffix. But as I said, those pluses are an accessibility nightmare. So yeah, Chris, those are not part of the name, as Danny says. They cannot be part of the name. So yeah, good stuff. So we could have first name, last name. Let's do a single column. You want to do a single column, or I think we want to do a single column, but we also want to simplify the label to input ratio that right now we're using a lot of screen reader only solutions for the CSS, which is not great. But the thing that I want to do here, I actually want to add a button to add an extra field. Okay, we could do something like this, I think. Give me this, give me this. Not inside, just Figma decides to put things inside. Add more or more. No, we should, for UX writing, you should never say add more or learn more, because it's just not contextual, it's not intuitive. We should say add extra name fields. How do you name those suffix, prefix, and middle name? Add name field, add extra name field, something like that. And these should actually be plus add circle SM. We should have this. We should have an icon and not this thing. We should have the icon styled with our wonderful blue color. Boom. Yeah, check this out. Okay, this should be the add extra name field, or without extra, because we already have in the context, we are in the context of adding extra, so add a name field. First and last name can be like this, so it's fairly intuitive and makes sense. They are aligned. Navigation wise, when you create a new field, a new contact, the first thing that you have selected, your cursor is on first name. If you hit tab, you go into the last name, and we would say like 90% of our users will only have first and last name, or just a first name, and that's it. So they can tab, and then they go into add field. If they don't care, they can just tab it away and it's fine. But this works, and it's better than this solution that creates a lot of extra things. And when they add a field, if they add a suffix or if they add a prefix, we show it on a prefix and we focus. Like, we can do this. We can show it so your name structure makes sense. It follows the logic. But yeah, the adding things. Of course, if you add all of them, that add button just disappears, so it's easier and things like that. Okay, you guys are writing a lot in the chat. Torva, imagine being a Latino like me and have an extremely long name like Levi, Martin, Da Silva, Ronaldo, Pinto, Paulo, Tempo, Carlos, Berto, Santos. Yeah, that's a real life scenario. Yeah, name field. Yeah, love the song. Oh, thank you. I didn't do it. There's the artist that did it. It's in the description of this video if you want. She makes this music. It's amazing. David said, maybe give an example of a complex name to reinforce the language here. Show additional name field. +1 for that. It reminds me of something I heard on Nintendo DS. Come on. Show arguably better than add. But rather than show, because what I want to do here, I want to show... rather than show, I want to show. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. What I want to... Yeah, I want to pop something like that. Like add name field, and then we show something like this. Like prefix, suffix. Actually, this should be suffix, middle, name. This is what I want to do. Otherwise, if the user, like, we could have add extra name, like add additional or show additional name fields. But if the user wants to just the prefix, why should we force them to see the whole thing if they wanna just the prefix? It could be prefix, first and last name, and that's it. Why show all or show nothing? That's a lot, right? It's a lot of extra space that majority of our users won't need. So something like this, add an extra field, and then we list all the fields that are currently not present, and we win, double win. Do something like this. Bram. I like this. Ubuntu regular. Give me the color. Give me a gray 70 here, or gray 60. Maybe gray 70. Yes, and this should be a gray 20. My god, these colors are the best. I love everything about these colors. Okay, yeah, this is the suggestion. Like, you click add field and you select add a name field, which name field you want extra, and that's it. That's more intuitive. What compliment? Thunderbird, that was a compliment, Alessandro, to me? I don't know, sorry, I lost track of all the comments here. Katie says that involves a lot of clicking if you want to add more than one. Sure, but what's the... Well, not really a lot of 2 clicks. So first of all, Katie, this is not against you, Katie, it's just in general. Designers and usability experts should stop defining if something is good or bad by the number of clicks. If the number of clicks is between 1, 2, or 3, it's fine. If it's between 1 and 30 clicks, it's bad. But 2 clicks, it's okay. Like, we are not in the early 90s where the mouse interface, or even early 80s, the mouse interface, oh, clicks, too many clicks, sub buttons is too much. It's just, like, it's not really a good measure to judge if something is bad or good, and it shouldn't be only our the main driving force of deciding things. I'm more concerned about the fact that majority of the users will not need to see all of these fields all at once every time, and we offer the user the ability to only show what they need, so we keep their UI, their interface lighter and less polluted. And this is just 2 clicks away, and it gives option, it gives solution. It's not like it's literally 1 click. Oh, which one I want? I want prefix. I want a middle name, another 2 clicks. I want the suffix, another 2 clicks. That's it. You don't need to add like 35 extra fields. There are just 3 fields, right? So yeah, that's my feeling. Tell me really how you feel. That's how everyone tells me. But yeah, I might be also caveat on this. I might be completely wrong, and users might absolutely hate this, and we can just 1 click to show them all. So it's not set in stone. Oh, so many things. How would the user remove a field? So we have a partial implementation of this in here. For the names is not yet done, but we will for the extra fields. But here, every field is not in 102 yet, is on daily and beta. For every field, we have a remove. So if you add like multiple dates, then you can remove a date. We also, right now, if I write something like doctor and I save it, it shows I have it. But if I delete the prefix and I save it, the empty field is removed. So all empty fields are cleared. It's not super intuitive. We're implementing this, but it's not there yet. We couldn't do it for 102, which sucks. So Thunderbird says, approaching midnight. I'm signed off. Thank you. Take care of everything. Send for your awesome one. Thank you, Jason. Have a good night. Is there a way to select all of them through instead of click add for each one? That's not important. If the user were to remove a field that was populated, will that be remembered by the system or will be discarded at that point? Don't understand the question. It might be if you add every field and a bunch of contacts in one settings, but how often are you going to do that? Often you're just adding a new contact to an address book. Yeah. Liquid paper on the screen, of course. All right. My chat. Then we got Katie. Is it much easier to have a button to expand all of the extra fields and tab through the ones you don't want? I disagree, Katie. No. Especially in a situation where the choice is between add only the fields that you need or add all of the 60 fields all together, and then you need to read them all and find what you need. No. I disagree with that. This is something that Google does. Google gives you just 1 click to show everything. But honestly, like Micah said, like Micah wrote, how often do you need to add all the fields to all your contact? Usually your contact are a name and an email. Sometimes you add a phone number, sometimes you add a social media, but it's only some specific things that you add for some context. So we like, why showing everything all at once with one click? It's not that oh, sorry, not all, just the additional name field. Yeah, it's like it's limited, but it's the same. Like, how often do you need to see all of those and add all of those? Like, this is just one extra click. It's not that absurd, or it's not that, oh, this is terrible. It's absolutely fine. Jeff, is that an arrow panel? I want to add an arrow panel. No, by default it's gonna be like a menu pop-up like this, because if Mike Conley is still around, please bring back the arrows to the arrow pop-up panel. We really like that. I know it's complexity and sometimes it's not needed complexity, but it was just so cute. So Mike, please bring that back. But yeah, we don't have the arrow panel, so it's just pop-up. Okay, so we want to do this for the thing. Then we have display name and nickname that we can pretty much keep the same thing. This is last name. You can duplicate, and let me hide this. Extra name fields pop up. Let me hide this because it's in the way. Oh, it's everything. Oh god, no, I just want the pop up here. Add names, extra fields, select me this and hide this. Last name. Here we got the display name. And then we have the checkbox that we need to add, but then we have the nickname. This is absurd. Like, this is absolutely something that I don't understand about the vCard specs. You have the full name, then the nickname, but also the display name. And if you can get the display name instead of the nickname, but also the display name overrides the full name, what? Things, fields, it's, yeah, amazing. Then he says you could always have a setting to decide what is shown by default to avoid the extra click if you use a lot of some field. It looks visually overwhelming when you have all the fields displayed at once and you have to go scan through them. It gets really busy. Yes, I agree with Micah. Display name, nickname. Yeah, I would also like not use this. Oh, here we have different stroke. What is this? Selection color. Gray. Gray 40. This is rectangle. This is blue. Blue 50. Okay, and this is gray 40. Okay. Display name, nickname. This is new blood gray 40, and this is gray for new blood gray 40. Okay, and this is nickname. And then we got preferred display name. We can use this little checkbox here and put it in here. And we can get this and put it here, and we got what does it say? Prefer, ooh, not here. Prefer display name over message header, something like that. This can do 12, even 11, B50. And this should be gray 40. Okay, something like that. More. I'm guessing not many people use the nickname field, hide it by default. Oh my god, we didn't have a nickname field. We got bombarded by bug reports of people freaking out because the nickname field wasn't available. I'm not hiding it by default, just to leave it there. It's so annoying. But yeah, by default, we'll potentially hide it. So I'm just recreating some examples here, but by default, we should have something like this. First and last name, emails, and then you add a field, and then you add the nickname and display field. So I'm just, these are just widgets that I'm checking. Yeah, so actually I can move them out, so I have them here. But yeah, no, we're not gonna add them. So I've always thought the nickname fields was an edge case. Yeah, no, David, it's so weird. Yeah, so right. So here we can get the name, first name, this is the group, this is the contact list, extra field. Let's add the button, primary button, something. We got the button. Instead of something, we add field. Yeah, the plus. And now we need the email address that is currently here. Okay, so this is another problem. The email address is not properly accessible because we made a mistake. I mean, we didn't make a full mistake. So the email address fields here, let me show you here. We got this, like when you add multiple email addresses, you have an extra column that says, oh, which one is your default email address? Because you can decide, and of course you can see changes from the header. The problem with this is that this is a type. This is an input field for the email. This is the column to define the default, and this is the removal for us, mouse users that can read an interface and they don't use assistive technologies. This is fine because we recognize, okay, we are in the email addresses context. These matches this field is just a row, and the default matches this row because it's on the same line, so it makes sense. For screen readers, a screen reader will read the input field, but how do we tell the screen reader you're in the email address context, this is your work field, and it's the default one, and if you go down, this is none, or if you change to the home and then you write something, this is your home field, or like your email address home, and it's not the default. It's a mess. So this needs to be rethought with a table, column, row structure in order to have each column has to have the context of this is the input field, this is the email field, this is the email type, home, work, none, other, and this is the default column. So there's a lot of coding involved to improve the accessibility of this thing. So yeah, we need to rethink that. But overall, in the UI, we can explore something else. We can explore this type of solution. So if we do this, where did I put it here? Where did it go? It went here. Wow, up here? Okay, good. So instead of having this fancy email and then you work and blah, 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 let's do something like that. So first of all, let's delete this because we have it. So emails. First is email addresses, and we go to, what is this? Let's copy this style, let's paste it here. It's email addresses, not the slash. And the email addresses, since we want to go single column, and we can do it, we have pretty much the flexibility. We can do something like maybe this, and I'm just experimenting. So don't freak out if you see something that it's absolutely awful. It's perfectly fine. I wanna copy these actually because I like this and it's better than this, and we can delete the other one underneath, And email address. This is a field gray. What is that? A grade 30? It should be a grade 30, I think. This is Ubuntu. Regular. Grade 60, grade 70, something like that. We can change this to nav down, which I rotated. Where did I rotate it? Here? Yeah, I rotated it here. Oops. Fine. Okay. The color for this should be a gray 70 as well, or something like that. Okay, so we can do like this. We could potentially do I have already? Yeah, default, I have it here. Okay, great. I can grab this and put it here. Okay. Could be something like this. Type email default, and then we got our remove, which is basically our remove or delete. So we have the add, but add circle SM. What's the other icon name? Yeah, the add subtract circle SM. Okay. So subtract circle SM. And this, and we can select a red 50. Is that red 50? I think it's red 60. Okay. We could have these. But smaller, slightly lighter, something like that. And if the user repeats things, you could have this situation. And this, of course, is not selected. What is this? This is gray 40. Could be something like that. Email addresses. We have the labels for these columns. There's no confusion. We have plenty of space because we don't need to have two columns. Maybe it could be something like that. And for this, we can have something like this. Add email address. Could be something like that. This removes any sort of confusion. It simplifies, allows us to use a table row, table header, column rows. Everything is visually and keyboard accessible. We don't have those hidden labels that are absolutely atrocious. And this is like a TR, a table row, and can be repeated. And nope, I picked the wrong color. And there's no confusion. This belongs to the email address context. This can be the field set, and this can be the legend of the field set, so it gives the context to the whole field set. This is the button to add more, and if you only have one field, the default column is hidden, and that's it. Yeah, I don't mind something like that. So let's do that. Minor point. Notice you are alternating title case and sentence case, first name, email addresses. Yes, it's an issue. Looks too cluttered. Well, what about this then? This is pretty much even worse, right? Like, no, I mean, accessibility wise, these were not showing the labels and the fields, and there's no correlation between the two. I mean, we have those, but they're hidden. If we we inspect, you see like we have the input field that are labeled by the address book input field that is up here, and here we have you can see here we have a screen reader only that says email addresses, and we need to do all these tricks to have like hidden labels to make proper accessible widgets. It's just a trick. It's like we shouldn't have these things, and we're using like position absolute instead 50% to make it like visually hidden but readable by the screen reader. Is not a good solution. We need something simple. We need to simplify things. Yeah, maybe like this situation is a bit weird, but these type of things, we need this. Could have it like this, but it's a bit much. Email addresses and then type email default. Maybe it's better like this. Maybe it makes more sense. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind. And this could even grow full size. Caddy, one of the options in the type drop-down could be default, and the address would be moved in the first position. That way the first address is always the default and no need for radio buttons. No, Katie. There are two main problems there. First, never change the order of the fields when the user, like if I click default, then all of a sudden this jumps on top. That's absolutely terrible. That's bad usability. You don't change the location of things unless the user specifically drags and moves it. Swapping data top and bottom is not good. The other thing, what if a user wants a default home or a default work? Like, how do we specify that? So no, that's not a good solution, sorry. Base, hidden labels is a good solution. No, it's not. I just said like all the accessibility problems. It's a good solution for us, users, that we don't need accessible technologies. We don't need screen readers. We don't need anything else to use it. And we can just use it without worrying about label field correlation. So we need to cater for all the users, not just for us. It works for us, it's fine. No, it's not fine. Yeah. All right. I think this is good. I think this is a good compromise. Maybe here we could move to 9, so there's more. And then we can, of course, we can play with the white space to increase things and to make this more contextual. But this is also gonna be like density aware. and stuff like that. So yeah, this should be, this is completely separate, 30. Okay, yeah, something like that. Yeah, I do think it's better stacked. Yeah, okay, yeah, let's leave it at that. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop it right now. Been 1 hour and a half. I'm gonna continue this design, but hey, thank you so much everyone for joining, all the suggestions and all the questions and all the great things. This is a collaborative experience, and you get into the gist of how complicated these things are, and not what we think it's best works for everyone. So yes, it's tough, man. It's not easy. But yeah, other than that, if you want, yeah, check the Thunderbird. God, I'm so tired, I cannot talk anymore. Check the Thunderbird YouTube channel. We are sharing a lot of extra things. Jason is doing a lot of absolutely cool tutorials to help it out. Donate to Thunderbird if you can. We are fully 100% running on donation, so we are trying to make the best email client out there based on donation with just donation. So yeah, thank you so much. Caddy, that's too convoluted, sorry. David says bigger picture, possible future feature. Could ask the setup whether you're setting these up at home or work, then that could dictate order of defaults on email fields. Nah, that's such a huge ask. Like, you set up things, okay, this is home or work, and that's it. You decide a home, so now all your default emails are home. It's just, no, this, like, we're removing the flexibility of changing things just for the sake of not showing a label. Come on, it's not that, yeah, that disruptive, this visually. But yeah, no, thank you so much everyone for participating. I'm gonna try to do more of these. If you are interested, yeah, you can follow my channel for the Thunderbird on social, and pretty much I think like 60% of the people in the chat are Thunderbird developers, so I don't need to say any of this. But thank you all, have a fantastic rest of the day. Bye bye.